G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru. Welcome to my channel where I like to teach beginners how to paint in acrylic. Before I get started, the size will go up there, the canvas size that I'm using, and I also want to get some colours running up the screen. They are the colours I have available for this painting. And we'll make this painting a bit different. Not just your average flat row of trees at the back of your painting. I want you to be able to change it up, because if I can do it, you can do it. I want to have some more charisma in the painting. It's just knowing what to do and how to do it, and it's that easy, all right? So come on over here and let's get right into it. So like I said, we want our middle horizon line, we'll call it. Now, let's go under halfway, about halfway, okay? Now, if anything, this can be a bit tilted that way because we're looking down into the painting there. I want a bit of a gap. Just there's center, so I'll just come off center a bit like that and have some distant trees way back there. And we're going to have some mountainous trees coming here and on this side as well coming there. I also want to put some kind of distant hill mountain in the background, just sloping down off the painting. I don't want a nice pointy one in the middle. You can do this, understanding what looks better on the side and off center and things like that. We're going to have a bit of mist here for creating distance, and we're going to put simple reflections in our water, maybe with some water lilies, okay, something there. And I want to show you, instead of just doing simple trees, the stuff you can do to make it look magical. Now, to create me sky, I've got my soft titanium white with some retarder. I've got some grey and I've got some cerulean blue. I want a cool sky. I want a cold looking sky. So I want to mix up this soft, I call it craft paint because it's like craft paint. It's just soft like a craft paint you get in school or techs or TAFEs or universities. Okay, and I simply want to use this on my already primed canvas to prep the surface of the sky area, which is up here, just so as I can get some sky blending, like, you know how those oil artists get theirs looking so good? Well, us acrylic artists can do the same thing when you follow this method that I've created many years ago. Okay, so I'm just getting that over the canvas like so, and then I'll come to the tip of me, put her on a brush, just to, because you don't want to leave it like that. It's very heavy, thick and blobby. You want to iron it out. So we're going to iron it out left and right all the way across the canvas like that. And it's a nice thin even sheet of that craft paint and retarder ready to take on our sky colour. Now I've just wiped that brush and I've got me blue, so I want to grab some of this, most of it, and mix up the grey to get that cold, I don't know, I feel it's just a wintry vibe of a colour when I add this mid-tone grey. I've got it already mixed in the tube because I'm lazy, but when you're at home, you're not in a rush, you can mix your own grey and add it, or you can even add some burnt sienna. So I'll start at the top, get this on there. I'm pushing it right on. Now I want to start bringing it down, and it can come lighter as it comes down, okay? Because if anything, your sky needs to be lighter at the base. I'm crisscrossing it, just getting everything done. See, it's on there. I'm pushing it down where I want it, okay? Then I come back to the tip again with this putter on a brush. It's a wonderful brush. And I straighten it with the tips left and right again, just like that. Now you can darken the top up if you want, because it's a tutorial, I will. So I'm just going to grab some of the straight cerulean blue now, without the grey in it. And I'll concentrate right at the top, just the top of the painting. Push it on, let it wear away, now slowly come down. But hang on a minute, there's a bit of a straight line there, you don't want that, do you? So let's start crisscrossing it and help it, because you're an artist and you can make things happen on your canvas. There we go. Now I'm going to straighten it again. Now lo and behold, this sky is still very wet. If anything, it's going to be able to act like oils do. It isn't, but it will. Okay, so we're going to put some simple clouds in that sky. Now for the clouds, I want a blending brush to blend them, and I want to put her on a brush that I'm going to stamp the footprint of the clouds on. I choose to use a hog bristle fan brush because it's sturdy, and a simple cloth to wipe your blending brush as you're blending along. So I'm just going to chisel this white titanium white out of the tube. See, it's a lot thicker than that stuff there. And this is what I use. No retarder in these colours now. It was only in that one, not these. And this is what I'm going to stamp my clouds on with. I'll put some, I'll start here. I'll put something nice and whispery down here. I'm stamping it on, pushing it around. I want it to feel like when the person's looking at this painting, they can feel that these clouds coming over their head. So I'm pretty much doing that behaviour shape, the V shape, okay? Let's go like that. I'll simply grab my blending brush. Now, see that paint, how it's wet? Look at that drag. Beautiful. Acrylic to act like that is wonderful. It's difficult to do if you don't know how to do it, but this video is to show you you can do it and how you can do it. So I'm going to tickle these clouds now and watch. We're just going to get some fascinating light and duller parts of this white. See my brush, it's picking up paint. That's why I've got the cloth. Do what you want with these clouds. It's your painting. Have brighter values and duller values of this white. Spindle it right up there. Try not to have the curly marks in it if you can. Just remember what a cloud looks like and put those movements within your brush, okay? Okay, and we'll put something on the other side, but look at me brush, it's filthy. Do be sure that you wash it and damp it dry in a paper towel. Just simply pick up some more and we'll probably put some cirrus clouds. Cirrus clouds are these sweeping gap-filling clouds, just like that. Look how easy they were to put on. And then you simply get rid of all these cirrus cloud edges. Wipe it. Here we go. And see this stuff, this is just sat down, but it's like soft cotton in the sky, the cirrus cloud. Look at that, simple, effective and easy. If you want to make your sky full of bullshit and distance, just clean that brush and grab a, well, I'm going to have a mountain coming down here, so I'll put something maybe here. We'll put a distant cloud here, pretty long, and this one pretty much gets blended down to the horizon line. So we'll make a long lineal cloud, and most times these create depth. Dance the top the way I want it, but the bottom half of this cloud now I'm going to drag and I want it pulling right down to the bottom here. There we go, so it's blended to buggery right at the bottom and you can just twist it away there like that. Now if you want colour in your clouds, a bit of storm, a bit of grey, a bit of weather, you're more than welcome to do that as well. I'm simply going to grab a little bit of grey that I mixed with that cerulean blue earlier. And let's say this cloud here, we'll just put some weather under that. So all I do is the bottom half, I just taint it with some grey. There we go. And we'll blend this down. Blend that, merge that into the top, merge the top half of this grey into your cloud. Okay, get it merged. And then just simply bring it all the way down. Get a bit more there. Just so as we've got weather within this distance section here. Hopefully that's going to look alright, it doesn't look too factory. I'm just sort of continuing tasseling here so it's not some sort of weird little end to it. Okay, that's me sky finish. 9 times out of 10, that's the majority of the area I use the retarder and that craft paint, because I want that blending method going on in my painting. When I'm doing trees and water and stuff like that, I don't feel it's such a necessity unless it's really going to be called for. And the more seasoned you become in your art journey, the more you'll understand when you will need things and when you will not. All right, so let's get back into this. Now down on the palette, I've got green oxide. I've grabbed another pile here, and if you're smart enough, you'll see I did a little test pattern there. I've got some permanent alizarin here, and I want to make this colour up with that green. Just put some of that in there just to get a vibe that I'm looking for. I've given the bottom half of my sky a bit of a dry. Now I'll use this brush just to map it in. This is blocking in my distant mountain, alright? And my distant mountain, where was I going to come from? It's going to come from about here, and I want to see where my clouds are. I'll sweep down. There we go. Boom, that's me mountain sweeping in. Now I can just block this in It doesn't have to be sharp on the very edge because it's in the distance, okay? So remember that everything in distance is not in focus. So I've got to get this down to here where my trees are going to roughly go. I'll put some there just in case there's some windows there, sky windows. And this is going to come all the way. I don't want it too flat there like a tabletop. Now if you're liking this video so far, hit the thumbs up, share it to your social media. Okay, I'm getting to the end of this mapping in of this distant mountain. Now if you don't have green oxide, use a colour you're going to be happy with that'll create a distant mountain colour. Okay, I'm just using what I've got available. Okay, I've got a flat-tongued filbert. I'm going to see if this colour on its own will work or not. I just want faint bits of trees, just faint bits here and there, like this. Just detailing this bottom mountain. You can do this. It's this easy to make a painting look like it's got so much bullshit going on. Okay? And the lighter and delicate you touch and work out what's working, the more you'll be impressed with your own work. And when you start getting impressed with your own work, that's when the magic's happening within your journey. And we all get that feeling, we all do. It's not there all the time. Sometimes we get blocked. We don't know what to paint because we've had that feeling and we want more of it, but we can't always get it. I have got the smallest bit of yellow ochre there to mix with some of this, just so it's not too cartoony looking. I'll dampen that a bit because that was a thick paint, that one. So here we go. This is going to, when you start putting the browns into your trees, you watch the difference these stamping motions are going to do to what I've just put on there. You will see what I'm on about. There we go. These would probably look a bit more realistic. I'll go over some of that stuff there. This is just subtle detail in the distance there. Just so it's not so basic and plain. It's just something you can achieve. I'm painting this on the fly, so I've got no plan set out, so that's why sometimes you might see me in a tutorial painting something and all of a sudden I've changed it up because I just realised where normally if you've got a plan planned out, you can just run off your plan. I'm going to grab my little blurry brush. I'll call this my blurry brush. I'm going to pick up some white and a little bit of some of this colour, just to make an off-white smoke mist colour. Now you don't need much of this on your brush. I want to scoot across the bottom here, so I'll just lightly come across here and get some mist down here. Right across. See, those of you who don't know, I'm working from the back, gradually coming forward within this painting layout, the way it's being constructed here, okay? Now, a lot of you are aware of that, but there are people out there that are just so fresh into the game and they don't realise why we do things first, second and third. Over here, not too much, just coming off the sky, or too much. Coming off the sky. And zoom in front of this part of the mountain here. Now it's not pure white. Pure white's too loud, I feel. How's that looking? It's looking okay. I feel I want a bit of it just coming down the valley here a bit. Now, like I said, don't get carried away. I want to put a little bit of distance between these trees that I'm going to put here. So I'm putting a little bit there. And watch this video all the way through, and that way you'll get a gist of just what was going on in my mind. So when you start to paint it, you'll know exactly why things are happening and why you're doing it. So I'm just putting this here to set all that back a bit. Not much in that brush, not much at all. Okay, I'm going to pick up some more craft white because I just want to quickly map in the water. And my water's going to go all the way along here. Now this, on top of your painting for the water, allows your paints to flow better. Get that reasonable there. Cutting it in. There we go. Always keep your horizon line straight. I've done it in my early days and I still see a lot of people doing it now. You want to get rid of that box method going on. You know, where you decide to come down this way and you got a square corner in your painting, whether it's in footpaths or horizon lines or rivers. When you see that happening, you know it's a villain out there to trip you up in your journey. Try and distort it and keep those lines a lot straighter. Now I'll just simply wipe that brush, grab some of this colour that I had down here, and you want the water closest to the horizon line lighter than the bottom. So we'll get this all the way out there. All the way there, boom, rub it in, rub it in. Now you can use masking tape if you want. See, that paint's dry, this is wet. I've got a ridge there and I want to get rid of it. The best way to get rid of it is straight into the wet surface, bang. And I can put that back and it is now gone. Now we're going to bring this down. That white craft paint, see how it's allowing all this to move the way it is? I'm picking up some of the normal cerulean blue on its own now, and we'll get this at the bottom. And then we want to bring this into the top half. And having the darker band of paint at the bottom just gives the water the illusion, instead of it being flat, it's looking like that. You got me? I'm pretty sure you knew that anyway. And what I'll do is I'll just pick up some bits of white, you know, some, where are we there? Just stamp it on like that. Look how blobby that is, and some bits here. Okay, that's our sky and the water, okay? I'm coming to the tip of this brush, pulling that down just like that a bit. Now I just want to waterify it. There we go. That's just the illusion of the clouds in the water. Now that water can dry. Now we'll start bringing this to life. It's going to be a green vibe, so I've got perylene green. That's the darkest green I've got. Make a dark green with forest green and black if you don't have perylene. Something you can create a dark green, and I want me trees coming down. So what I'm going to do is create the top area first, just like this. See, I'm following my sky where I'm allowed to. Keep going down to the palette to condition my brush, and then come over this green. Get some of that green windows in here as well. Don't just block it right off. Use your imagination. That'll come all the way to there, but you get a gist of what the guru's up to. Google's a wonderful place. If you ever wonder how to mix a colour, just Google it. See, I've got some of that mountain and mist showing through the very top of this. It's not just all solid there. And then we'll simply block this in accordingly. Now what I've got to do is pretty much get that in the water as well. All I'm going to do is get the blobs off my brush, come here and then start putting it in, and everything's dry now. You want those little tear downs there. I'm following there. There we are there. Just before I do that, I want to get that other colour and sort of pull it down into the water as well. Now it doesn't have to be the same size all the way down here, because I want people to know I've looked at this and it's a fact, Jack. And I'm not making a plan with Stan. Sometimes your reflection is the way you're looking at it. It's not perfectly in the water, it's obscured. Okay, so I'm just getting this about there-ish into the water before I should have done it before I did that little bit there. So I'm just doing this. And it's probably going to come about to about here before, just in front of there. I'm just grabbing some of this glary colour here and glare that down as well. There we go. Okay, now continuing back here, we're getting this on and scratching it down to the height at the top, roughly reasonable. Doesn't have to be a mirror image. Where are we going about here? Just pull the tips of it down. Just so these very edges here are scratchy and hairy like a comb. Then you can push all this in with some paint and even up your brush strokes and your reflection, because your reflections are always going to be pulled. You don't want stop starts there. See how I've done that? Get them all out of there. This is just blocking in. Nice windows up into that mist. Like I said, that mist is going to set all this back. Just to that mountain colour there, and we're just going to drag it down in a straight line. Then we can block the rest of that shadow in. Well, not shadow, reflection. The top part's fine, that's just where the horizon line is. Get all those strokes uniform. What I might do, just to break up some of this uniform lookness about it, I might just put something, I don't know, let's see, not too far away, something about here. Some kind of, let's see if I can use this brush and make some kind of, there we go, that worked. Just something like that, another one next to it maybe, just a bit of doodahs there. Just so as I can have that in here as well, just something like that vibe. I've got some burnt umber and yellow ochre. I want to mix up a little bit of this colour here, there we go, just to get on one side a bit of a bank, just to break it up a bit. I want some kind of bank just along here, disappearing. Boom. And this can disappear into that darkness there, just like that. Might have some just along here as well. Okay, so I've got my forest green, and I want to get this over the black here where it's travelling in front of that. I just want to do a band of it up here and bring some lighter stuff in front of it. So I will dribble the odd little bit of this down over the perylene green, because without the darks under there, these ones don't stand out too well. It's coming down there, and it's not clashing with the background one now. I've dried that perylene green. Now do yourself a favour and don't forget to put them in your reflections as well. Just pulling it down like that. Putting it on and pulling it down. Okay. Just like that. There we go. Now we'll use the sap green, and it's mixed with the cadmium yellow. So let's get, this is some more trees now in front. So leave that dark green that you just put on there in. Still leave some of that black there. Well, not black, the perylene. So easy to mistake it for black, but in real life these paintings look quite nice, and you can see the vibrant colours within them. Now I've got to do this light colour in the water as well. Just here and there where you see it. And this is how easy it is to create beautiful, wet looking reflections in your water. I've done there, I'm just doing the reflections. Now, why I put that there, I want to show you the effect that can do in a beginner's painting. This paint here, I'm just grabbing some of the craft white and dancing with it. Now, when you do tree trunks, they don't have to be fully mixed. They can be marbly to create the vibe of tree trunks. Don't go too crazy with this. I want to thin. I'll use me Malcolm stick. I want to get some right up in there. Look at this, right up. Get one next to it, right next to it, right next to it. And this is just going to add so much depth within your painting. It's wonderful. If anything, you can see I'm leaning them into the painting. Just like that. Don't go crazy putting lots of branches on them because they're in the distance. We're just getting a vibe of the main trunks. I want some of them coming all the way down here. Now find the right colour that's going to work for you. Now see that island that I put there, or the bank? Get some of them and put on the bank as well. And they're in front. One's here, way back there can be behind. You got me? Now wipe your brush a bit and just kind of tear them down into the water as well. Like so, not too heavy. Get something here. Just pretty much like that. Okay. I'm just grabbing some burnt umber and black, mainly on the burnt umber side, and just, you can see where I've added some in there, but it wasn't dark enough, so that's why I'm doing it now. See here? You just want to just scratch in dark areas from the dark into here. Kiss those trees down into the ground there a bit, leaving the light like so. I'm just using a little square detail brush, a little flat. Now grabbing the sap green and the yellow again, like we did on this side here, we're just going to use this vibe, make it a little bit darker if you want. And we want to start, see here, I want to start bringing something over there. Where are we? Come down over the darks, leaving those trunks there. How's that turning out? Oh, it's all right. It's a little bit bright, so I'll just add a bit more sap into it as I go. That's better. And we're just getting our other get something just pocketing in there as well, way in the distance there. Now careful if you're new at this not to put too many trunks in there, because you'll get swallowed up trying to work out how to sink them back. Just do a little bit, less is more. And then of course, fun bit is putting these reflections in as well. Use these reflections to hide anything you're not quite happy with in your reflections. But keep them damn straight as you're pulling down. Now I'm grabbing the yellow oxide, where I've got the blob of it, and that's sap green, and I want to make the dead wood colour. Okay, this is what gives you the realistic greens in your trees. Okay, so a lot of this bright stuff we've put in, we'll sink it down with some of this. Now I want you, when you're driving along your roads and your streets and your highways, and you've got the bushes and shrubs and trees in the medium strips and everywhere, have a look at them and just squint your eyes and just realise how much of this dead burnt colour is within that green. We see green, but we're seeing beyond this colour. And this, you will see, oh, that light's a bit bright. The colours look a bit more realistic. In my opinion, everyone has their own opinion. And of course, down here. Now before we put the water lilies on, I want to grab a bit of white paint, not too much. I might put a little bit of blue in it as well, if I can. Where are we? Too much blue. There we go. And then pick up the glaze. I use this to get the film on the water. It's just a lot more pleasant than big white knife marks. Use a bullshit stick if you got one, or a straight edge. And I want to, let's see how we go. I'll start over here first just to see. All too much, see, lucky I take some of that off the brush. Yeah, too much. I need more glaze rather than paint. Try here. This is a little bit better. So I'll come across here, get across there, break it up, come across, stagger these. You don't want them too much paint, because then you'll just cover up everything in your water and you will be grievily disappointed. There we go. And this is just simply, lightly does it, sinking back all those wonderful reflections you've just painted, and cross them over the lines there, cross them past the edges. And then we can go over the water here like so. And then these going on before the lilies will make sense. There we go. Now I've got the I've got forest green mixed with some black, and probably around here I want to get some lily pads. Let's see which way I can paint a lily. There we go. Because this is the darkness of the lily. Lilies need a shadow under them just to create that floating depth of illusion. Put some little ones out there. Little things like this cost you nothing to do, and they add so much value to a painting, I feel. Have some touching as well, like that. And when we come closer to the bottom of the painting, they can naturally come a bit bigger just so as they look in perspective of the painting. Now I'm not going to keep them all in there. I want to do some out here as well. Just some simple dark lilies first, and then we'll highlight them. And they're about this big here. Okay, I'm grabbing the sap green and I'm finding a bit of my cadmium yellow on the easel here, on the palette, sorry. And I'll mix up the vibe I want. Now I've got some permanent linder in there. When I do this, I'm gonna see if I can get a bit of that in there as well. Now this highlighted colour, I've dried them, it's got to be on the very top. Okay, just like that. Doesn't matter how long or detailed it takes you to paint them. Get the top darkness gone. Okay, like that. There's one there. And that looks lilified. Get right over the top bit. You don't want the shadow too thick. I'm using a little dagger brush here. Right over the top, keeping the bottom shadow just there. Now you can do it the other way around if you want. You can do this colour first and trace a dark shadow under it if you like. How's that looking? They're looking quite floaty, dimensional and see-through. So on some of the closer ones, they will look a bit better, hopefully. Now here we go, we've got to go that one in front of there, that one in front of that one, and that one behind. And we're laying them in, a bit like doing rocks. I was going to sneeze, but I couldn't be bothered. So I'll continue painting these lilies. Yeah, I've just disturbed some of this permanent linder into that yellowy green. I'm leaving it sort of marbly. And we'll see what some of this, just in the centre of some of the big ones. Don't do all of them. And also what you can do, they're just the big ones, some of them have little stalks on them. So I've loaded up and chiselled the paint onto my dagger brush, mainly these big ones here, and I'll get them on an angle like that, all nice and pointy, and you can come underneath and put his reflection there. Get some up straight. Alright, we'll sign this and then we can whack a frame on it. Now be sure to check out the links in the description below. Join my YouTube channel here as a member. There's a join tab below. Get some extra perks. I want to thank all my patrons who support me every month. Much appreciated. Yeah, there we go. That's not too shabby. We've got the lilies. They look lilifyingly lily-ish, don't they? We've got a distant mountain, got a beautiful simple sky and a beautiful simple foreground. And I know you can do it. Well, I had a lot of fun doing that. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Tell your friend if you like what I'm doing, but if you don't, you tell everybody. Also, check out this other video of mine. Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.